from Rochester, New York, home of Juno the Wonder Dog, Zoe the Podcast Cat, and Billy's Cats. This is FC3 Monkey Business, your one-stop shop for everything geeky, and everything's geeky if you love it enough. Starring Chris Frank, Billy DeTore, and me, Tanya Metris.
That was cute.
Wasn't it?
You were supposed to be able to name all of Billy's cats, though.
Yeah, I think next time you need to do all.
All of Billy's cats.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I said Billy's Cats.
Including Dopey and Bashful.
It could be Billy's Brood.
Yeah. Billy's Brood. There you go.
That's what we've named the fan club.
Mm. Oh, boy. That's why there's no one in it.
I was gonna go Athena, but since we had you and Dan, so I'm like, I gotta go to Billy's Cats.
Okay, well, Billy's Cats then for tonight.
And for future reference for the listeners, we have Dora, Precious, Oliver, Daniel, and Bob. If you want to be formal, it's Daniel, Tiger, and Silent Bob.
There it is.
All right. Remember that for next time.
Yeah, there will be a quiz.
I won't.
There will be a quiz. How we doing, guys?
Not too bad.
Doing all right.
Doing all right in the overall? You're having issues.
Yeah, it's stupid stuff happening all day today.
At the home front?
It's just stuff with me. I'm just like totally stupid things. Like I'm like playing WoW with Sean and he goes, I thought you sent me a picture. I'm like, I did. And I'm like, oh wait, I only took the picture. I never sent it. So it was like, he's like, what about this? I'm like, leave me alone. I'm having issues. So yeah, it's been one of those days. It's hard when your whole routine is out of whack. And my routine's been out of whack for 10 days and it's out of whack at least until April 15th.
It really is. I'm a big fan of routines and it just feels wrong. I mean, and I'm a homebody, so this hasn't really crushed me the way it has a lot of people, but it still doesn't feel right at all.
No, I was actually amazed when Tanya told me that there was like a travel curfew after a certain hour, and I'm like, I thought people were just joking about that. That's a real thing. I was like, wait, that's really happening?
No, Anne actually was pulled over, I think, on Friday of last week, right before it went into effect. And she was pulled over. She was headed to the running store to get stuff for the farm, and they're like. She's like, oh, was I speeding? He's like, no. He goes, where are you going? And she's explained what she was going to Runnings. He goes, what for? She goes, for the farm. Which farm? And she goes, who are you? She goes, I'm so-and-so. And like, where's the farm? So she had to give them like the whole rigmarole.
Oh, wow.
About this. And they're like, well, what are you getting? She's like, well, ear tags and castration bands and something else. And he's like, okay, goodbye. So she's like, I have to remember that for next time. That
yikes.
But the farm's an essential business. So therefore she's able to travel. And she said today that she almost had to go to Tampa today.
Oh, Jesus.
To help the 912 network get back up down there. But I'm like, wait, it says that somebody from New York can't fly to Florida unless you're isolated for 2 weeks prior to going in. And she goes, no, I have a Department of Homeland Security waiver. So she's like, wow. I'm allowed to do that. So with her job, she's got higher clearance in essential than any one of us. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Sounds impressive.
Yes. So
I'm not that cool.
So when all the essential employees are out working and when we get to go back to work for those that aren't like super essential like me, Anne's like, can I take the day off, please? Because right now she's already in overtime hours.
Right. Huh. That's impressive.
Wow.
So if she's like ignoring us, that's the reason why.
Well, it's okay. We still love her anyway.
Yes, we do love her.
We do.
It's
true. It's phenomenal.
Wow, I'm talking a lot today.
It's good. We're proud of you.
It must be the Mike's Harder Blood Orange.
Yes, that's it. You had the primer coat going on.
Yes.
So we have a thing going on today. We're doing a thing. We're doing a thing in this episode.
Yeah, people aren't going to have to listen to just us today.
Yeah.
No. Well, they could.
We're doing our first interview in ages.
I think it's our first interview of 2020.
It is. It's our first interview in like months, but definitely in 2020.
When did we do the interview with Christina?
Oh God, that was almost a year ago, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was like almost a year ago at this point.
I can't remember.
Yeah. But now, because here's what we did. We compensated for the fact that FC3 2020 got postponed. Okay. So since you're not going to get a chance to meet this particular gentleman in 2 months, we're going to give you an opportunity to at least
listen to him.
Get to hear him talk. And I'm talking about none other than Power Ranger Jason Faunt, who played Wes Collins in Time Force. So he's going to be joining us in our little chat room here. And we're going to chat with chat in the chat room. We're going to chat with Jason for a little bit. We got some questions for him. I even reached out to our boy Ray. And his first reaction was, well, why do you need to? First, I asked him, I said, anything you need to, any questions you would ask Jason Faunt. So I wait about 20 minutes, and then I get the response, bunch of good questions. But I'm reading the questions. I'm like, these don't make sense. Oh, and I called him. I'm like, I said Jason Faunt, not Jason David Frank. Right? And he starts laughing. He's like, oh man, I didn't even read that. I just saw Jason and Power Rangers and I went with it. I'm like, okay. So he gave me some good questions to ask Jason Faunt about Wes and what it was like to be part of the Rangers thing. And then he's like, so you guys are back in the studio. I said, no, we don't have the studio anymore. We're doing this online. He goes, oh, can I come over? I'm like, no, the house is on lockdown. It can't let you in because of the virus scare and all that stuff. And he's like, oh, well, can you send me a link? I'm like, no.
Yeah. No, we love you, Ray, but no.
We love you, Ray. I'm like, no, you have to understand. I want to keep the interview under an hour. So
Dan wants to go to bed.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So yeah, that's a thing. And we got that going on. So we're going to talk to Jason. We got some questions for him. We're going to get to know him a little bit better. Looking forward to that. We're going to stretch our legs in using some Zencaster action here, which is kind of cool. I'm excited to the potential now that we've done it a couple of times. And so here we are.
Someone's breathing heavy. Is it Dan?
It's not me.
Is it Dan?
My lungs are working fine at the
I'm
moment.
not.
I know. If you're hitting the mic, all of a sudden I hear extra breathing.
I was so excited about this podcast.
Do you need some time alone?
Oh, no.
I'm on a roll today.
She must be feeling butter today.
Oh!
Chris, I think you should ask Jason Faunt the questions for the other Jason, just to see what he would say.
I think I'm not going to push my luck on that one, but yeah, I get it.
So yeah. So how was it working with Kimberly Jo? Or how was it? Amy Jo Johnson. Wait, wrong Jason.
That would be a bad way to start off.
Yeah. Did you have to chop the ponytail?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because there are so many Jasons between the characters and the actors.
Right.
Because Austin St. John's real name is Jason, but he doesn't go by it.
Right.
And he plays Jason Scott on Morphin Power Rangers.
So
I think Jason,
if
something
you want
like
to be involved in Power Rangers, you have to have the name Jason.
And then there's Jason David Frank and now Jason Faunt. And I don't know how many more Jasons on there, but you must really like it.
Jason Carr, Jason Momoa. Wait.
You're just now naming Jasons, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm guilty of that, I suppose. It's a thing. Anyway, so shall we give this a run then? So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have
Jason?
We will have Jason's with us.
Hey, Jason.
How you doing, Jason? Billy and I apparently picked up on that. Yeah, we're chasing Jason.
And the Jason.
And adjacent Jason.
Oh, boy.
We're Jason adjacent. Okay, we should stop now.
Are you guys done?
I don't think so.
Are we chasing Jason?
Yeah, that's a thing.
All
right.
Jason? Okay.
We'll be right back. Now for our message from our sponsors, Carmen Industries.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're having a good time as always. I hope, like I said at the beginning of the show, everybody's staying safe, everybody's staying secure, and keep talking to each other through whatever means you've got. Now, as I promised, in the quote-unquote studio with us right now is none other than the man, the myth, and future FC3 guest, Jason Faunt from Power Rangers. Jason, hello, sir.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward.
Absolutely. Dude, I gotta be upfront. It's confession time for me. I've never been a huge Power Rangers aficionado. Whatever I've picked up from all of the fans who come to our show, and all the rest of everybody tells me the stories, and so I feel like I've lived the show vicariously through all my friends. But I got to tell you, every single Power Rangers actor I have met, and I've had a chance to meet a lot of them so far, like 10 or 11 at this point. All of you guys are just amazing people. So I've always appreciated when you share your time with us.
Sure.
Now that leads me kind of my first question real quick. Do you guys see each other a lot? Do you guys like interact a lot, or is it just kind of the convention circuit?
You know, it's funny. It's the Power Ranger family is a real fraternity. And by fraternity, I mean guys and girls. It's just such a close bond because we've got this special little place in pop culture that we've all been fortunate enough to grace. Mm-hmm. And there's just a special bond there. So we all live, a lot of us live in LA, but we ironically don't see a ton of each other because it feels like every weekend we're at a show, and I could be at a show and I'm with Walter and David Yost and Jason David Frank. And then the next week I'm with the Time Force cast. Next week I'm with the Mega Force. So we actually get all of our get-togethers and visits when we're on the road together.
Nice.
So yeah, that's that. And we do, when we're together, we all, get dinner and hang out and do all that fun stuff for sure.
Well, it's got to make the convention circuit easier because you're going to run into somebody that you can hang with. So you're never going to be in kind of a spot alone after a fashion. Now, as I've said to you when we were doing prep, getting ready, as we are a comic book convention, comic books, they love their origin stories. I want to pick your brain. I want to find out what was that seed, how did that seed get planted that you became an actor and, more to the point, eventually a Ranger?
Yeah, well, it's actually a really, really good story, and one that I'm asked a lot. But what happened was I was a sophomore in high school, and I had gotten, I don't know at the time, the flu, whatever it was. You're sick, fever's throwing up, so I stayed home. If you guys, of course, you guys remember this, but I'm dating myself, Blockbuster Videos, right?
Yeah.
So my parents both worked, so it was kind of like, hey, we're going to get him some movies. And I was just going to have to, be at home hanging out. My parents both had to work. So my mom rented a movie called Risky Business.
Oh, I love that movie.
Classic.
Yeah. And in that movie, during that 2.5 hours, I just completely forgot about the sickness. I was taken away. And I thought, man, how fun does that look? I mean, how cool to be fortunate enough to be an actor in something like that. And I became a huge Tom Cruise fan. I became a huge fan of entertainment and acting at that point. And I had already been a very successful baseball player. I played college and pro baseball, briefly pro, and then after I was officially done, I literally packed up my bags, went out to LA with, I think my truck had like 200,000 miles on it. I probably had $1,500 to my name. I literally packed up, drove across country, and just dove in. I knew one person out there, and I just go, I don't know anything about this world. I've never done a play, but I'm going to go learn, pin my ears back, and just see what I can make of this.
And
so
just
risky
for me,
business.
If I can jump in, I'm a huge baseball fan. What position did you play? Did you make A ball, double A? Just curious.
Yeah.
Because I love baseball.
Well, yeah, I played shortstop. And then I went to, there's a longer story that we'll talk about when we all meet, but I went to University of Iowa and played ball there initially. And then I transferred to a smaller Division I school called University of North Carolina, Asheville. So I was out in the South, and I got to play against, a lot of guys I watched continue playing in the majors for years when we were playing against Florida State and Tennessee and a lot of big schools. And then after I was done, I played rookie ball in Huntingburg, Indiana. Dubose County Dragons. It's right by the border of Kentucky and Indiana. And what's funny is we used to sell out 3,000-4,000 seats a game. I mean, in that city, we were the attraction. But our home stadium was the stadium that they built specifically to film a movie called League of Their Own.
Great movie.
Just a little movie.
Yeah, so that movie, the stadium was built for that movie, and that was our home stadium. So it had this real historic feel of like an old 1940s, whenever that movie took place again, 1940s era field, and that was our home stadium. So the Dubose County Dragons in Huntingburg, Indiana, independent ball. Yep.
Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool. And shortstops, man, hardest working guys on the infield.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the action comes. So had a lot. So I played that out till its end, and once I kind of hit my end with that, a year after college, I packed up and left.
That's amazing, and I got to tell you, that's a ballsy move, because you hear of the folks who've done the drama club stuff and the community theater, and they've done the acting classes, and they're like, okay, I'm going to LA to be a star, and then they pack up with the $1,500 in their pocket and the 200,000-mile vehicle, and they go out and do their thing. But you were like, you know what? I think I got this. I'm going to do this. And so it's an entirely kind of a different angle for it.
Yeah, and my best friend went to USC, so I had a place to stay.
Oh, good.
I lived in his fraternity house for free for like the first 3 months.
Uh-huh.
So that gave me a chance to like start finding a place to wait tables and kind of create like a little bit of a network of people I knew, and just get some money going.
Mm-hmm.
The worst and best thing is my parents, I came from a very, lower middle class family. So they were like, hey, you're on your own. We helped you through college. And so this is on your own. So you go out there with no ego. You go out there just wanting to learn, knowing you know the answers to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just always heard, I always listen. I'm kind of a geek for, listening to people who've been successful, what they've done, the path they've taken. And I always remember Harrison Ford saying that's just such a waiting game. You just, like anything, you got to put your time in and have your dues, do hard work, be a good person, and just wait it out. Just keep just hanging in. And that's kind of what I've always done, through better for worse.
And you're feeling good about where you've been so far?
Yeah, it's all how you measure yourself, right? If I'm comparing myself to Brad Pitt, then I'm a colossal failure.
Right.
But I think I've done pretty well, and I've seen a lot of people have to go home and change paths, and I've been able to do it, and I'm having fun, and it's been up and it's been down, but I'm still here, and at the end of the day, we're doing stuff that we love, and that's part of enjoying your life.
Very cool. Now, on your IMDb page, it said Time Force was your first professional debut. Did you have any projects before that you were working on, or is Time Force really the thing?
Yeah, I was in a soap opera called Passions.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember that show.
You remember Passions?
I do. I actually saw it.
I think I was channel surfing one day when I was home from work sick, and I saw it, and I'm like, oh God, another one, and I just kept on going. I think it's my exposure to Passions.
Yeah, sure, Chris. Yeah, that's what they say.
No, it was Bold and the Beautiful was the one I always stayed on. That was
There you go.
Because it was just so absolutely obnoxious. And I had to watch it. It was like reality TV the early days.
It was crazy. And back in the late 90s, kind of that was the way. If anyone, if you wanted to kind of get your break, it was trying to get that 3-year contract role on a soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of, I did Passions. And the long and the short of it was there's been a handful of movie roles that I was so close to getting that would have been life-changing that just didn't come up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Passions was one where it was down to like a handful of us to get this main role. Jesse Metcalf ended up getting it.
Okay.
And he's done pretty well for himself over the years. But and then I didn't get the main role, and then they gave me an ancillary role. And then I ended up reading for Port Charles, and then for that same thing, it was down to like a handful of us guys. Didn't get the main role, and ended up getting this smaller role for the role of Kane, which was a blessing because the soap operas come and go, but because I didn't get the 3-year contract with them, Power Rangers soon followed. And I'm so happy that if I had been on the soaps, who knows where I would have gone. But I know with Power Rangers, I've had this, 20-year history of just continued opportunities that franchises afforded me. Yeah.
Now, folks from like the original cast were saying they really didn't know what they were getting themselves into. They didn't anticipate. They didn't see what was going. They just kind of knew, it was a kid's show. There's going to be some martial arts. We should be able to get into this and see what happens.
Yeah.
Power Rangers was kind of established by the time Time Force came about, that version. So you were familiar with it? Did you follow it all?
Yeah, so I was actually older. I was 27 when I got onto the show. So the rest of the guys were all 18.
Okay.
So I was obviously very familiar with the franchise. At the time, I was still waiting tables at a W hotel. So in Power Rangers, it brought me back. This is the third time. So I came in red for Lightspeed or Galaxy, didn't get it. I came back in red for Lightspeed Rescue, didn't get that. And then this was the third year. So once I booked it, I was just ecstatic that I could quit a restaurant job, Yeah. So at that time, you take whatever you can and you let the chips fall where they may. So I was very familiar with it, and I knew that it was an awesome opportunity. And but I didn't realize how big it was going to be until later. I didn't realize how big it was going to be.
When you become a Power Rangers actor for the first time and you're getting suited up and you're doing your first run through lines and you're learning choreography and whatnot, and you're first kind of getting into the mode of being a part of the show, is in the back of your mind, I'm going to end up being on the convention circuit somewhere along? Does that pop into your head? You know that's part of the package?
No, never. And as a matter of fact, it took them some time for me to get there, to come to the conventions, because you did the show, and I honestly thought that the show was going to lead to me being, at the time, just the naivety of saying, I'm going to go be a movie star now. This was just a awesome opportunity. I loved it, but now I'm going to go off to bigger and better things. And you quickly realize that that's just not how this town works. And a lot of the new Rangers, I'm very close to these guys, and I'm letting them know, like, hey, this is what you're in for. So I want you to prepare for these things so you can handle this better than I did. I bought a home and bought a new car, and suddenly it was like, suddenly when I wasn't working, immediately I was like, oh my God, I'm going into debt. Like, if I had this money and now suddenly it's going away. So just to be a little bit smarter as you go through with everything. But to answer your question, I had no idea that there would be an afterlife for this from a Power Ranger standpoint. As a matter of fact, the first Morphicon was in 2009, I want to say.
Okay.
So a good eight years after I'd ended the show. And no one mentioned me even coming to it. It wasn't even a thing. 2011 happens and they say, we'd like you to come to the show. And I was like, guys, I'm not coming to this show. Not because I didn't want to meet everybody, but I honestly felt like I'd be the guy in college who's coming back to the prom. Where everyone's like, why is this guy here? He was a Power Ranger years ago. Like, we don't want to see him.
Right.
And they said, no, Time Force has become something very special. You don't understand. You've got to come back. Fans want to see you. And I said, okay, I'll try it. And the reception was amazing.
Okay.
I mean, I quickly saw how popular Time Force had become, right behind the originals. And I went, oh my gosh, this is insane. I never knew. And it just carried itself from there. And now it's, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to ask, you mentioned being like 8, 9, 10 years older than your castmates at the time. Was that an issue of any sort? Did you still hang out with those guys after filming, or did they come to you for advice on the future type of stuff, or how did that work out?
You know what? I think I definitely took on a bigger brother role, but they quickly realized that I was probably more silly and less grown up than all of them combined. And if you talk to them, they'll always tell you, I'm the guy that was always playing the most pranks, probably always at, So, but yeah, from a standpoint of they were 18, 19, I think they did look up to me as, Aaron Cahill always say, I'll do whatever Jason does, So yeah, I think that they definitely looked at me from a big brother standpoint, but we always hung out because I've always acted younger than my actual age. So yeah.
Gee, I have no experience with that whatsoever. None.
You're the biggest kid of us all.
I know.
There you go.
My grandfather, who passed away at 98 years old a couple of years back, always told me, he said, never be afraid to be the biggest kid in the room.
There you go.
Just do it.
And you're the tallest kid in the room too.
Not often, especially when some of the cosplayers show up.
Well, yeah.
Especially with some of the cosplayers on their drywall stilts. I mean, then I'm like,
right,
hey guys, how you doing? But very cool. Now, I'm not. Forgive me if I'm off base here, but in the bio information, you have 2 kids of your own?
I do.
How old are they now?
14 and 12.
Oh my God. Yep. Mine are 17 and 18. So yeah, I know what you're going through right now.
Yeah.
Those teen years.
Do they have a connection to this at all? Have they watched it to see Dad in action or something like that? Or
you know what they have? When it first started, I think they thought this is for boys. You know, this is for little boys, and it's a boy thing, and all that stuff. So I think they glossed over it, and I always have fun telling them how big of a deal I am, because I just like this just to joke them, you know.
Yeah.
And so they're always like, yeah, whatever. What they think is cool is the fact that they know and have the phone numbers to Cahill and Kathleen Sutherland, Nakia. They think that's pretty cool. But what happened was, as they got a little older, they started to see that their little friends that were boys were like, your dad is the Time Force Red Ranger?
Yeah. And
teachers were saying like, do you mind if your dad sends us an autograph? And they were like, oh, this gives me more attention.
Okay, let's ride this train.
They were into it. So now I think they are, because their friends love it. You know, their friends come over and they take pictures with my action figures, and now that they're freshmen in high school, they got young boys going like, your dad's the Red Power Ranger. How cool is that? And so I think they enjoy the extra attention, as all kids do. It gives them, and more importantly, it's I've met a lot of really mainstream actors. So when we're on a plane with Jason Momoa, and I can go over and say, hey, Jay, what's up, man? My kids, you mind getting a picture? And he's like, oh yeah, buddy, no problem. That they think is really cool, that we can meet people like that they do watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say, here, because, get to hang out with Jason Momoa. Come on. That's like, he's quite the thing these days. And,
I think it's the Jason fan club.
Yeah.
But there's lots of Jasons. I noticed Jason is to Power Rangers as, like, there's so many of you guys to keep track of sometimes.
Yeah.
As the Doctor is to a TARDIS?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go. Weird experiences on the convention circuit. What's some of the fun stories that you can share right now that
I can share
that you can actually share? Now, keep in mind, we're not exactly R-rated, but we're not exactly PG either. So feel free to be a little fast and loose with some of the storytelling.
Well, there's a lot of stories, some of which I can't tell, but I will say this: I think it's actually fascinating. I've been so lucky, so blessed to have been sent around the world because of this show. It's been the greatest thing that'll ever happen to me in my life. I can say that right now from a professional standpoint. I think I've been to 9 countries in the last 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Places that I would have never have been to if it weren't for this. Being involved in something as big as Resident Evil, which I never would have been involved with because of Power Rangers. And I hear the stories of people that have gone through so many things that I've never experienced, and the way that Power Rangers impacted their life, made their life better. The fact that gave them hope, brought them together. I mean, stuff that just makes me tear up. Watching it with their dad, who is now gone. The only connection they had with their grandpa. You hear these things like certain people like sports teams, and it both enlightens me and it inspires me, and it breaks my heart to hear these stories. And I think that's what's been such a great thing about these conventions and going everywhere, is just the experience I've had and see the impact that I made on people's lives.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's a gift. And I've heard that story often, and usually from Rangers. That's the thing is I hear a lot of actors say, be able to tell a good story and become these people and kind of express this artwork. But every Ranger I've talked to has been like, to be part of this community, to have an impact on an individual has been like paramount to all of them. And it's so cool to listen to them talk about it. Kind of a technical question. This is going to come from our Power Ranger fan that I was talking about, our buddy Ray.
Sure.
Was there a specific person that you channeled to help you shape your character on the show, or did Wes just kind of come naturally to you? Did they write to you, or did you kind of pattern Wes after somebody else?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think because I read for the role 3 different times, I'm a believer that early on in your acting career, these roles you happen to book, when you're lucky enough to book them, are pretty close to who you are in real life, right? You're just good at being yourself, and you're bringing out traits of yourself that happen to align with that character at that time. Wes is very close to who I am in real life, besides the affluent upbringing. And I always say that, his actions, his behavior, that's me.
Okay.
Alex was more of the stretch, more of a he was more departed from my true character traits. But, Wes was me. And sometimes acting yourself is the hardest thing, because a lot of people, as soon as the camera goes, they stiffen up and everything changes. It's hard to just be natural. But I learned a ton from Edward Albert. Once we got on set, he was a seasoned veteran in Hollywood. He had done a ton of projects up to that point. So having him there really helped me on set in terms of set etiquette and what to do and how to handle yourself. But to your earlier question, who Wes was very close to who I was in real life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool. And because then it helps you kind of visualize the scene a little bit more. You're like, how would I look at this? Well, you don't have to kind of put yourself in somebody else's mindset. You can draw right from inside and go with it.
Yep.
Excuse me. Now you kind of hinted at, and I know Tanya's talked about it, Ray's talked about it, a couple of other folks. Time Force really is that kind of that more influential series of most of the Rangers ones. What do you think about Time Force that makes it so more broadly accepted than maybe some of the other more obscure ones?
Well, my personal opinion on that is there's a bigger story again to what happened, but Power Rangers was a non-union show in the beginning. And when they first got their first set of casts for the first several years, it was all about, the audition was, okay, get up there and let's see you move, like a gym routine. Let me see you kick, let me see you punch, let me see you flip, and let me see what kind of martial arts or gymnast skills you have. We'll worry about the acting later. During our season, and I think maybe a couple seasons on either side of us, the show went SAG. And when the show went SAG, they changed their format to look for actors more so than martial artists. So our whole audition piece was the 6-page, just like a regular audition, 6-page audition that broke down this scene with your father. And it was a regular audition. The way we moved, the way we kicked was not even a part of the audition.
Okay.
So what they did at that point is they were looking for actors, not people that could move. So they kind of flip-flopped, going from looking for people that can move, we'll teach you to act later. And this is no detriment to any of the previous actors, of course,
right.
To a point where let's act first and then we'll worry about the movement stuff later. And I think because they did that, they felt they had union actors, and I think they really went after the storyline and the character development and really, really challenged that. And I think that is what has made Time Force stand out a bit, is that the character development, the storylines were older, they were more mature, and I think it came off a little bit stronger.
Okay.
As the audience ages, I think they recognize that.
Did your athletic background help with the role, or did it help you get the role though?
I think it did, only because I've always kept myself in really good shape. So I think in terms of looking the part helped, but no one ever asked me to flip or kick. A lot of those guys are A3 black belts in jiu-jitsu. And I always laugh, and I'm like, I think I get a lot of credit on the street for being this UFC type guy like JDF and these guys. And I'm like, I'm not that guy at all.
Yeah. I'm a shortstop.
Yeah. So, but no, I don't think it did, because there was zero parts in the audition that was, let's see you move, let's see you kick. I think they looked at me and said, well, this guy's an athlete. We should be able to get him up to speed for what the stunt doubles don't do.
Okay.
And how much stunts did you actually do versus your stunt doubles?
Anything in the helmet was never us. So anything in the helmet was the stunt double. And then in the beginning of the season, because if we were to get hurt, it would shut down production. Now, back then, there was a pending writer's strike that was looming towards the end of the season. So we had no time to screw around. They had our season filming 6 days a week, 8, 9, 10, 12-hour days, because we had to get everything done in the can, because if the writer's strike happened, we were shut down. So they're trying to just squish everything in there.
Yeah,
so in the beginning, very little. There were scenes where maybe my character Wes would run up a flight of stairs and they bring a stunt double in with a wig. And I'm like, guys, I played, high level college pro baseball. Like, I can run up a flight of stairs. They're like, no, don't do it. as the season progressed, we got to do a little bit more because they wanted to show our faces in there when we were in our regular attire. But in the beginning, very little.
Natanya, you've been binging on Time Force lately.
I have.
What kind of observations did you have, and any questions stem from that?
Other than the monsters getting big and that cheesy fight scene, what happens. I find that it's definitely like a more mature storyline. It's not Angel Grove with the high schoolers in school. There are Time Force Rangers going out to catch criminals, that type of stuff. And they're all like trying to find their place in this group. I mean, with Trip and Katie and Jen's, all their characters, they're trying to fit in with each other. And I see Jason's character Wes standing up to his dad and standing up to Eric, because I'm just past when the Quantum Ranger gets his powers in the Quantum Megazord. So that's like where I ended today. So I find that it's a little different from the previous seasons that I've watched, where it was like teenagers in high school and they're worried about, oh, I'm going to do blah, 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 that type of thing. So I think it's more apropos to like real life type things, is trying to figure out who you are, what your values are, what you want to do in life. Something at least.
Yeah, it does. And you're going to get deeper into the story. And when they start breaking down the love story that develops between Jen and Wes, they start to create the story of a young man who's gotten all this opportunity through a father that maybe is thinking more about his personal greed than he is helping people, and how Wes confronts that. The fight between, the mutants and humans of not liking each other because we look different than each other. And there's a lot of prevailing themes that are pretty cool. And like you said, Tanya, if you fast forward through the fighting, you're looking at maybe 10, 12 minutes an episode where you really watch these characters grow and find their place. And there's just a lot of themes that exist today that are pretty cool. And how it all comes together in the end is really well done. Even looking back now, I am always going like, wow, can't believe that they were, how Katie handles Rancic and her father, who just doesn't like certain people because of the way they look. And she goes, no, humans are beautiful. Why are we fighting like this? What's the point of this? And I think it's pretty cool to look back and see how it can reflect on today's society.
That's great. That is great. Because I do, the social commentary is so important, because to me, that's what a good story does, is it puts a mirror up and shows us who we are, how we look at the things, and that's how we connect with what's going on in front of us.
Yep.
Did Juno join you in there?
Oh yeah, she's here. My year-old Australian Shepherd.
Oh, very cool. Those are cool puppies.
She's
blue
definitely
eyes. Does that have the blue eyes?
No, she's got brown eyes. She's got I think she's a little bit of mutt. I don't know if she's pure Australian, but she's definitely predominantly Australian.
Okay.
She's
very
pain.
Cool.
Is what she is. She's a nuclear reactor with paws. She has more energy than I ever will in my life.
And I saw Bob go through Billy's screen at one time.
One of my
Really?
cats made a little appearance for a second before he jumped up into his tree.
Our pets are not just our mascots, but they are basically part of the show for more often than not reasons.
There you go.
All right, Jason, so what you up to these days? What's some of the projects you're working on now? What's coming down the pipe?
Well, guys, it's turning out to have been a good year, at least career-wise.
Good.
Yeah, I just got done filming a TV pilot in Buffalo with Michael Madsen and Daniel Baldwin.
Okay.
So if you look on my Instagram, it's called For Nothing.
Okay.
It's based on the 6-part book series that is available on Amazon by Nicholas Denman. So they're kind of slating this being The Sopranos. So we filmed the pilot episode in Buffalo 3-4 weeks ago, and the trailer is almost done. The pilot episode will be done. Allegedly, HBO and Netflix are very interested in this. And if this goes through, this will be an amazing opportunity for me, because it'll be a huge departure from the characters I normally play.
Right.
But the pilot was filmed it would be filmed in Buffalo if it goes. And hopefully, once the dust clears and all this going on in the world, hopefully that'll be a cool opportunity to be in a new TV show. It's called For Nothing.
For Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, we got fingers crossed for you, brother, on that one.
Thank you. Also, a couple things. They re-released the Time Force action figure June 1st.
Okay.
So that's back on Amazon June 1st, and that'll be huge to kind of resurge up the Time Force series. And then Boom Comics announced it's doing the sequel to Time Force in October.
Karen was telling me that Boom
big.
was active in the Ranger universe there.
Yeah, they're doing the sequel. So they're going to go back to Jen and Wes, the love story, what happens, and start retelling this tale of Time Force. So Time Force is going to get completely blown up this year. So this whole year is huge for our season.
That's phenomenal, man. Oh, congratulations. Yeah. That's great.
Yep. And then lastly, we announced yesterday, Legend of the White Dragon. They're going to start the Kickstarter for that again.
Okay.
Yeah, so that raised over $60,000 in less than a day so far.
Wow.
So Jason
That's
David
impressive.
Frank, myself, Bat and the Sun Productions. So they're going to try and create some sort of a spin-off that involves some of us.
Okay.
And there's been many attempts to do it, but this one is already 60% of the way in day one.
That's great.
So Legend of the White Dragon's coming back.
Now, so it's going to be on Kickstarter.
Yes.
So, folks, if you're listening and you want in on this, look for that Legend of the White Dragon on Kickstarter and show your support.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Yeah, you can go as low as $5. So there's ways that everyone chips in, and we all have such a really large following. So we hope this can do it, and this allows us to self-fund it and not lose control and get the project done that people have always wanted to, in terms of involving some of us.
Very cool. One of my last questions, real quick. Is there a dream project? Is there something that you watch or you see or you think about and you're like, oh, I would love to be a part of that?
Oh, I always like stuff involving action. You know, as I said, I'm a very athletic guy, so things that involve action are so cool. I think, obviously, you know, the event, being anything involved with superheroes was always my dream. So if you get involved with something that's superhero based, the Marvel world would be so cool. I think Deadpool would have been the best role for someone like me because I think that my humor is similar to how Ryan's is, and to be part of like a Deadpool would have been awesome.
That's cool.
So that would have been, if I could go back in time, that would have been a dream project for me, is to be Deadpool. Other than that, I think it's cool to have been given some shots to play some bad guys.
Okay.
Beast Out of the Water was a movie I did. It came out on Amazon, I guess, almost a year ago now. Beast Out of the Water is available on Amazon. I got to play a really rough pioneer who was slaughtering Indians, and it was neat to play a bad guy in some of these things. And I think that's kind of been fun for me lately, to be a villain here and there.
I'm always in. Oh, I'm sorry. I always step on people when they're talking. I'm sorry.
Well, you see, that's the thing. When we're in the studio, it's easy to kind of like point and direct traffic and whatnot, but we're all like looking at each other's screens going, I hope for the best here.
I'm just curious. I'm always wondering with our guests what they enjoy when they're not working. What do you like watching, doing? Are you a sports fan still? Do you root for a team? Are you a Dodgers fan or something? What do you do when you're not working?
Well, I am a workout rat. I mean, I'm in the gym all the time, so I do keep that up every day. Secondly, my kids, I'm taking them to dance class and volleyball in school. So when I'm in town throughout the week, I'm constantly running them all over the place. So that keeps me very busy as a dad. Sports wise, I was born in Chicago, outside of Chicago. I'm a huge NFL fan. Huge football fan. Baseball, it's funny, I played it my whole life, but I don't really watch it. But I'm all about the NFL, fantasy football.
Nice.
So during those times, like, we're just, football.
So we got to introduce him to DeTulio when he comes to town.
Yeah. As a sports guy here in town that I'm friends with. He's a local TV sports anchor who's a Rain Man with any sports knowledge you can ask. He can tell you who won every Super Bowl, who the MVP was, who like the score of every game, for real. He's a nut. So
you could just pull the date out and he'll be able to tell you what it is.
So that guy.
It's spooky.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. And what's really cool is that I actually know the owner of the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, cool.
I know Kim.
Yeah.
I know Kim Pagula. So it's when I go out there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was out in Buffalo, right, filming the pilot 4 weeks ago, And I texted Kim. They own the Sabres and they own the Bills.
Oh, they own quite a bit here in Rochester as well.
Yeah.
Do they? Okay, so I called them up and they're like, oh my gosh, there's a Sabres game. Come on over. And I was in the owner's box. And
nice.
When I was in Buffalo, they gave me a tour of the stadium and the locker room and all that stuff. So I'm just a huge football nerd, and I love all that stuff. I'm hoping when I come out there that the Bills have a Sunday night or a Monday night game, because I may just delay my trip a little bit and stay a little. It's not far, right, from you guys?
No, it's
about
an hour west of us.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll look into that for you. See if we can get you some information. Give you a heads up on that.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, thank you very much for hanging with us. We appreciate your time today, man, and we're looking forward to meeting you in September.
Yes. The date's September 19th and 20th, right?
Correct.
Exactly.
Okay, guys. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out there. In New York has always been awesome, and I've heard such great things, so I'm excited to meet you all, and hopefully have some time to get some good dinner together, hang out, and have some wine together. That'd be awesome.
Oh, I love it. Love's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Yep.
That's Jason Faunt, everybody. Time Rangers, Power Rangers, Time Force, excuse me. I apologize. I'm still sleep deprived. I don't know why. But look for Jason on Amazon and on
Netflix if you want.
All that stuff.
Lots of different places.
Yeah.
And look for him at the Total Sports Experience in Gates on September 19th and 20th. Thanks again, mate, and have a great one.
All right, guys. Stay safe, and God bless.
Take care.
And we're back.
I see it. And we are back. Look at that. We're still learning technology a little bit, but doing this stuff from home it's interesting because I'm glad we got with Zoom, we can see each other, right? So I can interact off facial expressions and whatnot. But it's just a different vibe. It's a different vibe. I prefer to be able to just kind of look across and I don't know. It's weird, but
my hair was frizzy, Dan. Leave me alone. I can see what my hair looks like now in her.
I don't like being able to see me. I don't mind seeing you guys. I'm a mess.
Yeah, this is a little.
Billy, I don't want to hear it.
Definitely a little odd because I'm looking directly into my screen, and so all the other screens are reflecting back on me. Yeah. So I'm definitely frontlit.
So how cool was Jason Faunt though?
He is awesome and amazing.
Very cool.
I tell you, it's like I said at the top of the interview, man. I have met several Rangers now. I think he's going to be like the 12th that I've met so far, and every single one of them are so freaking cool. Just easygoing people. Love it.
I just hope he's not. I just hope he's not as prank-worthy as the first Red Ranger we had. I don't know if we're gonna.
I don't know. I think if we tell him a couple of Austin St. John stories, he might try to top that and succeed. I don't
know. Those Red Rangers.
You might want to keep Jason Faunt away from the walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
He alluded to being a prankster.
Prankster, right? And that's what I was just like. Ooh, do we tell him about what Austin St. John did to our walkies?
I absolutely will be.
Yes, we do.
I absolutely will be telling him all of the Jason.
I'm sure he's like, oh yeah, he did it at this and this and this con or whatever, because Catherine was saying what Austin did and things. So yeah, I'm a little worried.
I think I'm feeling almost brave enough to meet Jason David Frank at this point. Because I know he's cool. From everybody tells me he's cool, but he brings a much different element with him to a convention, and so it creates its own interesting dynamic that I'm looking forward to seeing if maybe we're brave enough to try it. So anyway, that was cool. That was very cool. I haven't done an interview in how long?
I don't know, but you know what? This is the season that. Of the campiness of the fighting to put off to the side, what I've been finding so far is truly the storyline between the characters and how they're each coming into their own and making decisions and kind of changing their minds because they were all set this way and this is how they were going to do it. And then you could see their characters turning just a little bit of a change because it's not all exactly has to be this way by the book.
So if I were to dive into Power Rangers finally, Time Force would be the series to watch?
Yeah, because you don't need anything else other than that. It's not like...
So it won't break my brain.
It's not like passing
completest.
power coins from one ranger to the next ranger when whatever, and then this type of thing, because it starts in the year 3000. But what I wanted to like call out in regards to just the writers of the show or whatever, if it's the year 3000, why do you still need a robot to go like this to launch the Zords into the air? You would think that with the technology in the year 3000 would be so much more than a robot getting like this and giving a good swat to send it through the Time Force gate. I don't, when you see it, you're like, yeah, that doesn't seem right. And the Power Rangers fans out there.
The level of technology slowed down.
Yeah, well, think about it. It was 2001 projecting to the year 3000. So
there's that.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think there was more technology in the Star Trek episodes than.
In fact, I was just reading a Spider-Man comic story. It was written in like 1985, but Iron Man they wind up in the future of 2015, which of course has time machines and flying cars. And
yeah, we missed out on those.
Where's my damn flying car?
So maybe the year 3000 got detained by the virus of 2020.
I don't know, maybe. Who knows? But they come back in time, and they land in the year 2001. So.
Okay, come here. Come here.
Juno! Oh, hi, Juno. Oh, she's like tipping her head.
First podcast?
She's looking right at you. Is basically
hi,
what
Juno.
she's trying to do. She's like, wait, I see her. I see her.
Do you see me? Hi, Juno. Oh, she can, but she keeps hearing me. So she's like,
no, I want back up, Dad.
Oh, it's funny because when I was on Discord with Sean yesterday, he goes, call Athena. And I'm like, Athena. All of a sudden she like went running for his desk, and he's like she's looking all around for me because she could hear me.
Poor bumper.
But she couldn't find me. So he's like,
it's been weird if she did find you.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, so let's get back into the swing of things. We've got events coming up still.
Yes, we do.
All things considered, depending on, we're hoping for hopes. May 16th, Cosplay Day and the Cosplay PJ Party at the 585 Rock and Burger Bar. At this time, we're not postponing or canceling that at this stage, but we're hanging in there for the 16th, but we're going to stay fluid depending on how everything is unfolding with Coronaville.
They're smaller events, so they're easier to change if we have to. So
Right. We can stick and move and postpone and adjust if we need to on the fly. So keep in touch. We will definitely, keep you up to date on our Facebook. We'll keep you up to date through Nerd World News and our Twitter feed. So there's lots of ways to get that information out. But right now, we're going to hang on to that date as a possible. We're going to get together. Could be the first big hangout after everything kind of settles, or it may get postponed. So, but we're going to stay flexible on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then FLX Con in Waterloo with the Finger Lakes Radio Group, that's been pushed back. Just to mention that's been pushed back to August 15th. And
same place, same time.
Same place, same time, 10 to 4.
That's my birthday.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday early.
Yeah. I'll celebrate it at FLX Con.
There you go. We'll sing to you there. And then the big dog, FC3 2020. Will be September 19th and 20th at the Total Sports Experience on Elm Grove Road in Gates, right around the corner from Bill Gray's, where I will be getting a cheeseburger somewhere along the line that weekend. Anyway.
French fries, milkshakes.
Exactamundo. All right. Did I miss anything? Is there an event that I have to remember?
No, because we're all
Nothing
here.
else at this point.
No, and I'm not sure what we're doing for Comic Chicks. If we're gonna continue to do one on a Wednesday night, or kind of hold off until FOMO kind of puts the.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard because you guys got to get together at Ann's house, and that usually goes late, and there's that whole stay off the streets and stay home kind of thing.
I was home last week. Yeah, that's the main thing is the social distancing, and we can't stay 6 feet apart. when we're opening comics and things like that. And every time I go over, Jess doesn't want me to leave. And she's like holding on to my waist and my legs.
You
and
are now my Aunt Tanya. You may
I know. I'm trying to get out, and it's just not working so well sometimes. So,
actually, can I mention one other, because it has to do with comics? Diamond Distributors has now decided to stop delivering to comic book stores for the near future.
Yeah, Anne had mentioned on Wednesday that they're not sending any new comics out right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the distributors are not sending them to the comic stores, from what she said. She got her last box was their pull list for last week, but you can still get whatever they have in the store. And they said that like First Print will bring them out to your car, they will mail them to you, they'll do other stuff.
Yeah,
but they're not shipping anything new, I think, to the stores. And
then no new comics until probably this is over.
Probably.
And then comic stores can order afterwards, and I guess. So at least that's what I've read from my comic book store guys. So it's sad.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sad stuff here.
Well, it's not getting any less insane lately.
It's
That's
getting
the weird
more.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, it keeps taking twists and turns, but hey, we're trying to be safe. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in my family, we've had a couple of scares lately, but now we're using it as a learning experience, right? To keep ourselves protected.
I'm getting to use my superpower of laying on the couch.
There you go.
You're doing very well with that, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty damn good at it.
All right, my friends, here is the time of the show when I talk about the question of the week. And so in lieu of the fact that we're all stuck in our houses, Billy, I'm going to ask you first.
Okay.
What series do you think is binge-worthy, or something that you're binging right now while you're stuck in your isolation?
Well, I'm binging a couple things. I love BoJack Horseman. I'm right towards the end of the whole series. They dropped the last season a couple months ago, and I've gone through. I'm in the last few episodes, so I'm almost done with that. Then I want to go back and watch Smallville. I've got the whole box set. And at the time that it was originally on TV, I think I tapped out like season 3. I think they changed times, or that's when I wound up back in the radio and having to get up extra early and didn't have DVR or something. So I have the whole box set, and I haven't seen probably 4 whole seasons. So I'm going to go back to Smallville and watch that to get my Superman fix. And I've also watched, just movies, but like watched Wreck-It Ralph, and now I want to watch Ralph Breaks the Internet because I like kids movies. Kids movies have been
was cute. Was very cute.
They've been kind of soothing and fun to watch, and sort of take you away from stuff going on. The animated fun movies.
I'm gonna wreck it.
I'm gonna fix it.
Good cast with that movie.
All right.
C. Reilly. So.
How about you, Daniel-san?
I'm currently watching Farscape again.
Oh yeah. Oh, see, you gave me a clue on that the other day when you had said something in the board thread about get the Frel together or something like that. I was like, oh, Farscape reference.
Yeah, I'm on season 3. I haven't watched it. I watched it a while ago, but for some reason it came up again. I thought, let me watch it again. So parts of it I don't remember, so it's always good to come back again. So
I've enjoyed that.
So many things to watch, though.
I've never watched it all the way through, but I have enjoyed what I've seen of it. I do like the characters are very interesting to watch.
Yes, definitely. And it's a very interesting take on being sucked into a wormhole in another part of the galaxy here, and who and what you'll meet. So,
and starring original FC3 guest Gigi Edgley.
That's right, Gigi. Yeah, she comes in later in the first season, or early in the second season.
I think later first, early second, she comes in.
Yeah,
and makes quite the impression.
Yes.
The G. How about you, Tanya Fabulous?
I've been binging a couple different things lately. Of course, people understand I've been binging Time Force Rangers, Time Force Power Rangers. I started on Friday. and watched 10 episodes, 9 episodes on Friday, and I think now I'm on episode 15. I was watching some yesterday and today. I've been binging Marvel's Runaways. I'm now at the start of season 3.
Just finishing up season 1 on that show. What have you been thinking about that lately?
Really, some of them, they just need a Gibbs slap upside the back of the head because they're doing stupid stuff. But
well, they're kids.
Yeah, they are kids. I was thinking more of the parents.
Oh yeah, that definitely.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any of season 2 yet, so you're further along in the story than I am.
God! Just what the everything that the parents do, they think they're justified because they're doing it for their kids.
Right.
But it's just all the evilness that's in the world that they do. It's just horrific.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't think I'm binging anything else. I've been watching Picard. I still have to see the season finale. I'm a little behind on NCIS. The 20,000 episode, yeah, whatever. Just a little behind on that, but other than that, I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft. So that's and WoW is doing 100% extra experience point bonuses on new characters.
I'm going to be on tonight. I've been working on a subway on my Minecraft realm.
Yes, we know.
Connect a couple of places up. But I think I'm going to take a break from that. I'm going to jump on WoW. I might level an alt tonight for a little while.
So yesterday, Dan's like, "Oh, when are you going to do this test episode?" When we're testing the Zoom, I go, as soon as I'm done hunting an alpaca. He's like,
yeah, he was so confused.
Okay.
He was so confused.
It's a mount. It's a mount for it's a mount for World of Warcraft. It's a friendly alpaca, and it bounces around like this. It's really, really cute. So yesterday was my day 7.
Do I need to play this game one of these days? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you feed it these greens every day for 7 days, and on the 7th day, it's supposed to drop the mount that whatever. So you have it as one of your mounts. Well, I didn't get it yesterday, and yesterday was my day 7. Oh my God. Sean's like, "Are you done? Are you done being Miss Bitchy Pants?" Because I was just cranky the rest of the day because I didn't get them out, whatever.
My damn alpaca.
Yeah, I didn't get my damn alpaca. So today, Sean and I were on before this, and I'm like, "Let's go hunting." He's like, "Okay." So it was his day 7, my day 8. Don't I get the alpaca today? I'm like, "Yay, I got the alpaca." So did Sean. I'm like, son of a... he should have gotten at least one more day. But
congratulations, though. I'm very proud of you for achieving alpaca-ness.
It never gets old to have the little things bounce around, and that's AB's issue. That's now, AB's problem because he told us it. They're so cute.
And now we're celebrating the alpaca lips.
Yes, the alpaca lips. Yep, we're gonna have a horde of alpacas. Yes, and doing homework and trying to teach students online. Doing a lot.
And this is the new normal.
Yeah.
So, and as for me, I have Jules and I and her boyfriend Josh has been with us. We have been binging. We're almost all the way through season 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated series, which has always been a personal favorite of mine. So we're watching the adventures again and enjoying that immensely. It's funny because I'm actually catching stuff that I didn't catch the last time I watched it. So it's like, oh, cool, details. So, that's new. I don't remember that. So that's been a lot of fun. And like you, Tanya, I'm up to date on Picard. I watched the season finale. I know, Dan, you have also. So yes, Tanya, you catch up.
So some friends of mine mentioned it online to me, and I remember you saying that you're slightly disappointed, if I can.
It was a good story. I think the whole from beginning to end, it was very good, and most of the episodes always left me wanting more.
Okay.
I got to the end of the episode, and they would hit that final pause, and you're like, "Oh wait, what?" And then you see the credits close. Pop up, and like, "Oh no, come on! I wanted more! I wanted more!" I felt that the finale was a little too neat and tidy, but
my friends say they were crying. They loved it.
There was definitely some emotion to it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I won't deny that.
And I think that's what else I'm gonna binge watch that also.
I would recommend it. It was a good show overall. I really did enjoy Picard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was good to see Patrick Stewart in action again, and being
a lot of the rest of the cast too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The cameos were a lot of fun to watch. So, but yeah, Avatar: Last Airbender. Apparently, I'm going to be getting into Power Rangers Time Force sometime this week.
Yay!
Let's see what else. I don't think there's really anything else TV-wise that's on my list of things to do at the moment. I don't know, but we'll see. Maybe there's probably some Doctor Who in my future as usual. So, but that's
you have
good.
BritBox?
No, I don't actually have BritBox.
Okay.
So, but I get I have, well, here, most of my Doctor Who collection is right here on this portable hard drive.
Technology.
And I do have a lot of it on Amazon Prime. So
oh, nice.
So I do.
Cool.
I have my ways.
Mm-hmm.
All right, gang. That's a wrap. That sounds like good. We'll do a little wrapperoo on that little one. And so we're off and away for another week. So to all of our friends at home, you're listening to us, make sure you stay safe, stay secure, keep an eye on things, and have a great week. And we'll see you again very, very soon. So for Billy, for Tanya, for Dan, for Jason Faunt, for myself, my name is Chris, and I have Juno the Wonder Dog. This has been, cue the music, FC3's Monkey Business, a product of the Mighty Monkey Corporation, purveyors and producers of the Flower City Comic-Con, coming at you September 19th and 20th at the Total Sports Experience in Gates. Love us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, follow us wherever we go, and we will do what, Billy?
We'll meet you to where the action is.
That's close enough. That works.
What is it?
No,
it leads you to where the entertainment
Thank you.
is.
Oh,
that's the part I do remember.
It's okay. It's all good. I like that. Meet you where the action is. It's good too. All right. That's great ones. And hang on there, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye.